All right, I think we're alive. Colin,
Yeah,
how are you doing today?
doing well. How are you doing, Arno?
Pretty good, pretty good Monday,
Yeah.
the usual. So for people that don't know us, let's start with introductions. My name is Arno. I'm an associate at Verdis. I specialize here in decarbonization and greenhouse gas accounting, and I'm excited to be having this chat with Colin today because it's a big part of decarbonization that we'll talk about. Colin,
Hi, everyone. My name is Colin Thomas. I'm one of the analysts here at Verdis. I specialize in solar energy, and I also help Arno with greenhouse gas inventories and net zero pathway processes.
awesome. Well, Colin, you know a whole lot about solar, and today we want to pick your brain a little bit and get you to share some of your expertise. So, why don't you start by telling us why solar is important for some of our clients?
Yeah, of course. Solar is important for many, many reasons, and it depends on the size of client we're talking about. A lot of times we're working with commercial size, but it also applies to a lot of people just for their own houses. Solar can benefit with reducing your bills for electricity, as well as help make it so you're more energy independent. For example, if we have one of the many power outages that we have in the Omaha area, if you're off grid with solar, you can provide energy for yourself. Well, all of your friends and family get to watch your lights on with their power off. But other than that, it's also really beneficial for the environment as well. Right now, OPPD is sitting around 30 to 40% renewable energy, which means about 60 to 70% is still fossil fuel based. Solar is completely renewable. So all the electricity that you're using from solar is green with zero carbon emissions.
That's awesome. I love the piece that you mentioned about resilience because, like you said, outages are more and more important. And when we think about many of the businesses that we work for being resilient and just having the lights on is important for them, like a hospital, a school, even a bank. So it's definitely an important piece. So for anyone that doesn't know much about solar or just like starting to consider it, like what are some of the first things to consider when just thinking about it?
Yeah, of course. Some of the amazing things to consider with solar would one be just the location that you're trying to place it. It's very common to have it on your rooftop, but roofs may always not be ideal for solar.
Mm-hmm.
In the Northern Hemisphere, the sun is on the southern side or southern facing. So it's much more difficult to have solar on your rooftop if it's not southern facing, but it is still possible. You also need to make sure that there are no obstructions. If you have a shadow, you're not going to have sunlight. So if you have a big tree that's blocking your roof, that's not going to be the best place for solar.
Mm-hmm.
Some other considerations as well are just if you're not in the Omaha area, your electricity cost can affect your return on investment for solar, meaning how long it takes to pay back the array. If you have a high cost of electricity, you're going to pay your array off much more quickly than you would if you're living in a place where your energy is much cheaper. But those would be the main things you would want to try to look at for solar. And my recommendation would be more on the residential side, just to primarily focus on if you have any shading or other
Mm-hmm.
obstructions, like a rooftop unit, or if your roof is just kind of oddly shaped instead of flat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or a big old nice tree that looks really great during the summer, but also kind of
Mhm.
shades your roof. That doesn't help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or if you have a lot of kids in your neighborhood throwing balls around, you want to just make sure your solar panels aren't going to be damaged in any kind of way.
Yeah, you want to be insured for what's kids for sure. That makes sense.
Mhm.
You mentioned money, and it's important. And I feel like that's maybe one of the main barriers for people to get started on solar, just not knowing how much it's going to cost or being worried that it's going to be too much. So I think two things we should mention is solar has come down in price dramatically in the last 10 years,
Mhm.
and it's made it for utility scale pretty much as worth it as coal or natural gas in terms of building something new. But one of the first things I think is important is also talking with the utility. So I don't know, like here in Omaha, again, we're based in Omaha, but I know they sometimes have some rebates. I think also the federal government has some rebates. Can you tell us about that?
That's correct. So I'll just start with residential users. If you're trying to construct a solar array for your house, you can apply the federal ITC, which is a tax credit for your income taxes. And currently until the end of 2022, that would be 26% of the final cost of the array. So basically you pay the entire fee for the array upfront, and then on your next tax returns, you'll see 26% of that come back to you,
Wow.
which is really nice.
Significant.
And Arno, to your point as well, on the utility scale, it is very comparable to what the cost of installing a new power plant would be. Solar, as you said, has gone down in pricing a lot. And right now for sizes above 500 kilowatts, you're looking at about $1.80 per watt, which is much cheaper than even a decade ago.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. I feel like this decade is going to be the peak time for solar, and we're going to see more and more being adopted around us. So this is really exciting. So what's the first step? Like we've talked about some of the main considerations. Let's say someone wants to start tomorrow, like small or big commercial, doesn't matter. What's the first thing they need to do?
My recommendation would be to try to talk to a consultant or someone that's knowledgeable in solar, just to see what kind of potential your building or area has for solar. You may think that you have this really nice rooftop that would be perfect for it, but somehow there's a shadow or something just blocking most of it. So I would recommend trying to talk to a solar consultant or us here at Verdis, and we can help figure out the potential for solar at your site. And for a residential user, I just recommend looking into solar a little more. There are a lot of installation companies, or if you're a big fan of YouTube, you can try to do it yourself as well.
Yeah.
It is a little on the pricier side for a residential user, but I again want to say that you have the federal grant that you can use right now until the end of 2022, and then it drops down to about 21, 22% in 2023 as well.
That's helpful. So yeah, first step, get a design, see how much your roof can get for solar, and Verdis can help you with that. And then from there, you'll be able to make an informed decision on, is this the right thing for me? And then pursue with getting some quotes, and also Verdis can help you there. But at least having information to just move forward would be helpful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Colin, thank you so much for sharing some of your brain. I feel like there's so much more in there, but that'll be for another time. I appreciate you sharing with us today. And for everyone, if you have any questions, check out our websites. We have a couple downloadables in there that you can refer to. And yeah, just stay tuned for the next Facebook Live. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.